Jamie and Andy, what's going on?
Hey Scott, how are you? Hey Jamie, how are you, buddy?
Andy, hanging in there. Welcome, everybody. Happy Thursday.
Yes, welcome everybody. I always like to welcome everybody. This is the Trading Studio, and I'm Andy, and that's Jamie and Scott. And thank you so much for coming in today. Hopefully, we will share some insights and some stuff with you today that will help you become better traders, investors, whatever your time frame may be. But let's dive in. And before we do, let's go over the disclaimer here real quick. Okay, we are a content publisher. All right, we're going to be talking about some ideas, looking at some stocks today, and talking about some possible strategies. But anything that we say or do should not be construed as investment advice. Okay, if you are seeking that type of advice, you want to look for a registered advisor or a stockbroker, somebody who can legally give you that information. All right, this is the agenda for today. We're going to have the market recap as always, Holly recap. A couple of really nice trades in there. Jamie's going to talk about them. I tweeted today. It's one of our newest strategies. That's man, I might want to keep an eye on that one. It's a fading strategy and kind of a reversion to the mean type fading strategy. But boy, I've been seeing some really good ones come through there. And then it's a couple of scans, guys. I'm going to share with you. They're just good for ideas. Okay, one is called. I've been talking about like Tesla, stocks when they get on the other side of the mountain. And so I built a scan that will help us kind of find these things, and also, and not for you to short, but maybe they're good ideas. It'll be some information that you can take and know what to avoid. If you're looking to go long, some we'll look at some of the stocks in here, the symbols and their chart patterns, and I think it's better off maybe avoiding stocks like this. And Apple happens to be at the top of the list here, so we'll get into that pretty soon. And then the price alerts scan, there were a couple of really good calls out there. So we'll go over the price alerts and then we'll load them up again. So for this game, guys, if you're new to the webinar, what we do is if you have an idea out there that you like, give us a stock symbol and a price. Okay, we'll assume it's a long. Let us know if it's going to be a short. And we'll mark them up and then share them with everybody. And then next week we'll take a look and see who the big winners were. So it's kind of fun. I know most of the people in here enjoy it that participate. All right, before we move on, guys, let me talk about the 5-star support, education, and training from Trade Ideas. It is a very, very powerful software. Okay, I was talking to a guy the other day that he said, I spent 3 months just digging in everything I could find. And for some people it will take that long, but guys, I don't want to scare anybody that's new and kicking the tires in here, because you can start using this as soon as you download it. I mean, we have preloaded channels and tons of windows to share with you. So if you're not one of these types that like messing around and figuring out software, I understand. Don't worry, we have something for every level in here, so it can be real simple for you if you want it to be. But if you do want to dive in, learn how to build your own windows and get the most out of the software, we're here to help, and we do that with a number of webinars. The top one there, the Traders Room with Barry. Boy, they've been on fire in there with all these meme stocks. But I just want you to know, Barry is also available for those who have questions. Okay, I know some people are intimidated thinking they're all traders in there and they just want to talk about stocks, but you'll be surprised how many of the traders will help you as well, who know the stocks really well. And then these afternoon webinars in the same time slot, 5 Eastern time. We got them Monday through Thursday. You can look over there on the left side and see who is hosting those webinars. And the one on Wednesday is our CEO Dan Merkin and our CTO Brad Williams. It's a great little Q&A, and they're always good about teasing you with new versions coming around the corner. So great place to be. And the support webinar that you see here at the bottom, let me go ahead and click to the next slide. That's our daily support session, and it's every day, Monday through Friday at 12 Eastern time. I'll be heading up the one tomorrow, So if you have any questions, you know, pounding your brain, can't figure something out, come to that webinar at 12 Eastern, Monday through Friday, and we can help you out. All right, the next slide I will save for Scotty when he walks us out of here. But let's pull up the spiders, and that's the one. And while I'm doing that, let me go ahead and pull up my Epic pen real quick so we can do some marking up here. And there's Apple that you're looking at, kind of teetering, trying to hold that 200-day. We'll see what happens. But here's a look at the SPYs. Gap down this morning, bounced back. We did close above all moving averages. You can see they're just right above the 10-period moving average on the SPYs. You're going to see as we move on to different, they don't look the same. You know, Qs now is below their 10 and their 50. It's kind of a strange alignment there of these moving averages. You got your 20 down here and your 10 above. And look at there, Jamie. It's like tagging today. It tagged the 20 and then tagged the 10 and settled right at the 50, but right below the 50. So obviously, there's been a lot of money going into energy stocks, as you can see there on my sector watch list. There are a lot of energy at the top. Most of those you find in the SPYs. You don't find many energy stocks in the tech-heavy NASDAQ. So this is why you're seeing most of the strength in the SPY lately. That could always change with our rotation, but for now, that's where we're seeing the strength for sure. So the Qs don't look anything like the SPYs in my opinion. IWM has been kind of hanging tough. You know, it tried to sell off today, bounced back, still above all its moving averages. Not a whole lot to break down here. We'll have to see what happens over the course of the next couple of days. I would definitely keep an eye on some of the big NASDAQ stocks. You know, because a lot of them, your Apples, like I said, are trying to hold on. You can see there it closed below the 200 and quite a bit below the 200 moving average there today. Netflix kind of has that same ugly look below all its moving averages. Amazon, look at there, it's actually below its 200-day. I mean, wasn't too long ago they had earnings and was trading way up here, but not that same look. So I think you need to keep an eye, you know, even though we had this rotation, but I don't believe the Qs can just fall out of bed and it not affect, you know, the SPY, you know, the S&P. So keep an eye on that for sure. You know, if we see continued weakness and money coming out of the tech stocks, it's just, there's not too many cases in history where you see the Qs falling out of bed and the SPYs going to all-time highs. So, but, you know, this market has fooled me before. We'll see what happens. But Jamie, that's about it. You know, not a real strong bull. I mean, a bear case. And really, guys, look at where we are. We really haven't gone anywhere in basically 2 months here. We've just been kind of, you know, back and forth, you know, through this range over a couple of months. So it hasn't been easy, that's for sure. But unless you're playing meme stocks, in some cases, well, those have been easy. But if you're a swing trader, it's a little bit different. But Jamie, anything you want to add to?
Yeah, sorry about that. I was talking to myself on mute, and I was just responding to Bill there about the doc window version, which is 5.5, but it is not released as the beta just yet.
No, I'm hoping it'll be next week, but I don't know for sure. We've had it for a few days now, and it seems like in most cases it takes a week to 2 weeks, just depending on the bugs that we have. So just be patient. It'll be coming soon, that's for sure. But is it going to be a few days or another week? It's hard to say. All right, Jamie.
As the developers say, it'll be ready when it's ready, but everybody's chomping.
Yeah, exactly.
So hopefully not more than a couple of weeks down the pipe, I hope.
Yep, for sure.
All righty, let me grab it here.
Take it away. Yeah, man, a couple of nice ones in there today, huh? On the short side.
Oh yeah. And as you can see here, they're both at the top. I've got everything sorted by
Mhm.
moderate. Kind of a weird day for the blotter that we're looking at here, because we got some huge amounts up here, but this is really the only significant stock where we see any spread between conservative and, oops, I got the wrong width there. Give me a second here. There we go. Okay, so spread, okay, I think this one will be just right. There we go. So conservative and a moderate spread. Talk about a spread, 200 bucks and conservative on the GTT trade, almost 1200 if you let it run a little bit. Okay, the interesting thing is the reason that conservative closed that one out, let me just get the intraday up here. As we can see, this is the new strategy that Andy was referring to earlier, one that's just been making the rounds recently, separation from the 8 period SMA. So I went ahead and took the opportunity to put this orange line here. That is the 8. Notice it's really, it kind of goes right along with the 10, just a little bit of divergence there between the 10, which is the green, and the 8. So it's basically a convergence to the mean strategy, which Michael won't give all the details, but it has to be a certain percentage above that 8 period, separating from it. And boy, what a nice entry up here, just, you know, in the upper probably 1/8 of that wick that was put in on the GTT short, and pretty quickly here we got a target hit. All right, so not a very big space in between there between the stop loss and the target. I mean, the entry was only 65 cents, the target was 20 cents. Hey, everybody loves it when a target gets hit, but boy, you could have really just been a little bit more patient and let this one do its work, and that's really all you had to do here. You know, we can barely see the shaded area up here, which is the time that Holly spent in the trade, just this little bitty square up here. But all we had to do is let this one work, and boy, almost a 6x factor between conservative and moderate profit there without really a lot of headache there, you know, holding it all the way to the close, maybe a little bit more covering down in this area, but of course, who's going to cover at the bottom? Sometimes we get lucky and that happens, but it's the exception and not the norm. So just a phenomenal short trade on the GTT today, really just sitting there and letting the trade work for you. I mean, beautiful thing. Now, next on the list, and notice here, even though we have some pretty sizable numbers here, and when we look over here, count them up, 5, 10, 12 total signals. Of course, NEO is usually the shining star kicking out the big money, but today it was Holly at 1.0 and 2.0, knocking down all the gains over here based on 100 shares per trade. Everybody just keep in mind that what we're seeing right here is all based around a stop-based risk of 100 bucks per trade. So, you know, almost a 12R return on that GTT, risking 100 bucks and was never really out of the money at all. Now, as we take a look at these other trades, another decent trade. This one didn't come from separation, but one of the other strategies that's been a little bit dormant lately, making an appearance, the Anvil BGFV, and this one took a little bit more time, but a nice little top tick. As soon as this one came across today, I'm like, ooh, based on current market conditions, I like this one. We just breached all-time highs. AI steps in and shorts it up here. We can see it right here on the intraday. Immediate capitulation. We're in the money, yay. Then a little bit of a reversal. We had to set a little bit of a wiggle back up to the entry line. Got about a little over halfway up to that stop area before the seller came back in, and then we had the biggest move of the day going into the close. So not bad as far as Holly goes. The timed exit fit the bill right here. And of course, as we all know, these days, let me pull the strategy panel over here. In the past, we had a wide variety of timed holds, okay? It could have been an hour, it could have been 45 minutes, it could have been 2 hours. But with the recent retoolings of the core strategies, as you can see here, Michael's tooled them all up so that we can try to get the most out of them on a daily basis. All of the strats now, the timed hold is coming in anywhere between 15 minutes to 10 minutes before the close, okay? So that gives us really, if we do get into a good trade and a runner, it allows us to really take advantage of all that trade has to offer for the day. But what's odd about this blotter is on a big day where we're seeing some big gains, we typically see more spread between conservative and moderate. And even though we do have a teensy bit here to the tune of just a little over 10 or 11 bucks, not really worth going into much detail here because, you know, market closes, stock's actually up a teensy bit in the aftermarket. So there's really no room to play any of that spread there. And pretty much the same thing with WNW, which of course was separation from the 8 again, and not a bad entry. Not near as much meat on the bone here as far as price goes, but looking very similar to the GTT, gets a certain percentage above that 8-period moving average on the 15-minute. And I did clarify with Michael, that's what it is looking at. It's not looking at the daily, it's looking at the 8-period on the 15-minute intraday. So once again, convergence to the mean coming into play here. Nice, about not quite as high up the wick as the GTT was, but a beautiful entry nonetheless. And pretty much immediately after that, stock does exactly what we hope it would do. So 2 of the better trades today being produced by separation from the 8. As long as the market stays in this kind of condition, if we're not popping any all-time highs anytime soon, definitely be paying attention to the separation from the 8 short.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah,
For sure.
but the BGFV, you know, another one too, just had to sit a little bit of a wiggle, which is never any fun, but some nice percentage gains, you know, 25% from GTT, meager 7% from BGFV, and 10% getting picked up by the WNW short. So some really good short trades today. It's good to see when the market is weak. Of course, we did have the big gap down and the SPY getting back up to the close, but getting a little bit weaker later in the day. So it's always good when we got a red or a soft market to see the AI producing some decent gains on the short side, as well as most of the trades today being weighted to the short side. So a little bit of conservative moderate spread there. Now, due to the nature of these patterns, there wasn't really a whole lot of time to add. You know, nothing really jumps out at me. You know, if we would have come down to this level, we did look like we might want to get some of that gap, but it wasn't to be had today. So not really any good times to add to the GTT. BGFV, pretty much the same thing. You know, yeah, I could play devil's advocate here and go, oh, well, you know, this would have been a good time to add, but it's not really the thing that I looked for. You know, for all we knew, this thing was going to come up here and stop us out. So we just had to stick to our guns, stick with that stop loss, and it would have paid us. WNW, the same. Not really any good opportunities to add there. Having said that, there was a decent trade around today because I know I was in this one. I got stopped out only to see it curl over and do what it did in the end. So notice, and when we talk about trade arounds, these are when you see the AI get stopped out. We put this stock on our list to observe, and we observe how does it act around the stop area. All right, and as we can see here, it was a pretty quick stop out in the BB. What were we in the trade for, like 5 minutes here? 8:49, 8:55. Stopped out pretty quick, very similar to the Sienna Long. But look how perfectly it kind of behaves up here. For 1, 2, 3, almost a full hour. It's just kind of hemming and hawing around that stop level right there. And once we see these bars put in, it's a pretty safe assumption to go, you know what? This stop area is acting more or less like a pivot area, little area of supply. All right. We could have just easily gone back here on the daily too, get a little bit better of a gauge for what we might be, you know, seeing, bumping up to these 2 red candles from way back when, way back in January of 2021, but that's where a little bit of supply came in. We've got confirmation here. Yes, indeed, it is acting more or less as a area of supply on the intraday too. So we could have put that trade back on after we see Holly get stopped out as a trade around right around 1760 area. And then the thing finally capitulates, takes a little trip all the way down to the 1360. So trade around from that nice tight range in the stop area, almost 3 points of potentiality there, which would have made for a really great trade around. Other than that, not really a whole lot to be said here. A little too far of an excursion above the stop area here on the WPG, and then nothing really to be had in the Sienna. Although I will say this, if you're an intraday range trader and you like to trade ups and downs,
Yeah.
boy, after this one
Well,
settled in and punched through that first stop, I mean, look at all the potential. Back up to the top, back up to the stop, back up to the top, back up to the stop, and back up to the top.
Channelingstocks.com.
Yep, exactly. I mean, it's been a long time since I engaged in that type of trading, but when you found one that was doing that, you could make a nice little pile.
Mhm.
Don't really see a whole lot of this type of activity in today's market, but it was present today in Sienna, and you know, not really my bag, sitting there trying to grind it out
Yeah.
in this little range here. But you know, once it tapped that stop the first time, I guess it did tap it one more time right here, but was pretty range bound. Yeah, as Andy said, channeling stocks.com.
Mhm.
Other than that, sweet performance. You know, most of the cheese came from 2 trades, but hey, a lot of the times that's all it takes. A lot of the times all it
Sure.
takes is one, and today was a good example of that.
Mhm.
Anything to add, Andy, before I kick it on back to
No,
you?
man, you hit it. You hit it good. Let's see. One question here. I'm gonna let you because it's an E-Trade question. I know you've been dabbling around with that. Can
Yeah.
they use it? Can they auto trade Holly yet with the E-Trade?
It is available. It is
Okay.
available, and that's what I've been, you know,
Okay.
punching on as of late, trying to get, you know, any remaining bugs worked out of the system there. But yes, I believe that the E-Trade connection is available in the latest beta download.
Mhm.
I would just urge everybody to keep in mind it is a beta release. So if you use it, be vigilant. Don't leave it running. Be there when you're using it. You know, because beta release, there still could be some bugs that we're not aware of yet. So just keep that in mind.
Yep. All right. We had a couple of questions about conservative, moderate, and aggressive. Robert, I see you asking if you look above. I talk about the difference between moderate and aggressive. Basically, moderate will hold the trades all the way till the end of the day and ignore every exit reason except stop.
Correct.
When a stop is hit, moderate will quit counting. Aggressive will continue, and there's no exit reason for all for aggressive. Very dangerous one to use. That's why we don't offer it in the AI auto trading. Okay, we do not want people just putting it on aggressive and taking huge losses. So, and conservative is just getting out for any reason. You see there on Jamie's board their exit reason. Okay, so any exit reason that Holly gets out of in conservative mode, it will also, if you're trading it, it will get out on that same reason. So
Correct. And you know, there are 5 reasons why it would exit in conservative mode: stop loss, profit target, timed hold, reduce risk, or profit save. So in essence, moderate only adheres to the stop loss and the timed hold, doesn't bring into effect targets, reduce risk, and profit save. Yeah.
The L stands for long and the S stands for short, Frank, that you're seeing there in Holly. So yep. So long and short. And yeah, there's lots of windows where you can kind of find trending stocks. If you want to send something to info@trade-ideas.com, you know, I can help you with maybe a window that will help you find those trending stocks like that.
Right. And
Dig
the
for
key
it.
there is, Frank, is a stock may be trending up, but that is, you have no way of know if people are shorting it or not. You just know that there's more buying than selling, and that's what's pushing that stock on up.
Mm-hmm.
All
All
right,
right.
Andy, let me kick it back over to you.
Sounds good. All right. Got eyes on my screen?
Yep.
All right. So what I wanted to do, guys, is I've noticed a lot of traders, okay, that will trade stocks that they've just been used to trading them for a long time. And they may have been in a bull market for a long time. A great example is Apple. But guys, the attitude of a stock changes once it gets on what I call the other side of the mountain. Okay, when they're moving upward from lower left to upper right, you know, you can buy pullbacks easier, you can buy breakouts easier, you can buy on trend lines or moving averages. but you have to accept the fact, okay, once they have kind of gotten on the other side of the mountain, and I'm going to explain more about the other side of the mountain here in a bit, their attitude changes, and you cannot do those things that you were accustomed to doing on the way up, okay? Because it's very hard and very difficult for people to change their styles a lot of time, and even change stocks that they trade. So let me just pull up this chart of Apple here and zoom out a little bit. This is the daily chart. Okay, so what do I mean the other side of the mountain? Well, if I zoom out, let me go ahead and make this big for you so you can see more of it. Okay, so if I zoom out right here, this is what I'm talking about. When a stock is trending higher like this and above its moving averages, and you can buy those pullbacks, everything working. Okay, your pullback buys are working, and then when they kind of tumble, that's when things can change and get ugly. But that doesn't mean they're broken yet. That this may not be the other side of the mountain. As you can see right here, even though things looked bad briefly, it bounced back up, and then soon it started making higher lows. Okay, now what I want to point out to Apple now is what you're seeing here, and this is where I have a question right here, the other side of the mountain with the question mark. We don't know for sure, but the price action gets to trading differently. And let me zoom in a little better so you can see it. And you can see here from this potential top that we put in right here, there's been a lot more red bars than they have green. And I shouldn't say a lot, maybe 60-40 or something like that. But things have changed. Okay, you're not getting those bounces off moving averages and shooting higher. You're not being able to buy those trend, those short time frame trend lines and bounce up higher. What's happening is if you look here, we're putting in, okay, that's the potential top, okay, with a low down here, and then what we have here is a lower high. And now what we have here is we're below all our moving averages. Time will tell if we take out this lower low right here. I'd like to look at highs more than I look at lows. So in other words, we could bounce right here off the 200-day moving average. What I would be watching for if that happens over the next few weeks is, are we going to take out this high? Are we going to put in another lower high and head back down? Okay, that's more important to me than making a lower low, because I mean, you're just potentially on the other side of the mountain. And a great example where I probably made more money this year on any stock is shorting Tesla. Okay, and here's what you see. This is potentially just like Apple, except even worse on the other side of the mountain. Okay, now fortunately I started shorting it right in here, for scalps, and then I would fade it into these moving averages. This one was kind of like a little head fake. Now once it gets looking like this, okay, and starts digging in, I wouldn't short it. Okay, because it got through the moving averages, but I think I put another short in once it got below it again. But the key here is not, I'm trying to show you which stocks to short, although this may be a good idea, but I also want to show you where you might want to stay away from stocks. People, trust me, I know traders out there that have been trading Tesla for years, and they keep going back into it, even though this stock is now broken. It's below all its moving averages, making lower highs and potentially on the other side of the mountain. I was hoping it was going to get back up to this 50-period moving average on this move right here, because I wanted to short it again, and I just didn't pull the trigger. I just wanted more of a bounce there, so I didn't pull the trigger on it this time. I don't have a position right now, and I'm not one of those guys that just puts on a short and holds it through all this stuff. I'm a shorter term trader. I go for a certain percentage and I'm out. But this is a great example. Okay, so what I wanted to do, I wanted to create a window, okay, where I could share with you guys to find these stocks that are on potentially on the other side of the mountain. So what I wanted to look at is I wanted to look at Apple, because that has that look right now, and what I'm seeing in the price action is telling me there's definitely more sellers in Apple right now than buyers. Okay, I don't know if it's going to continue, but I wanted to basically use this stock right here as a prototype to build my top list that I wanted to create. Now, a lot of times I would go this, we have this page called stocks like this, where I can plug in Apple and it will give me all the filters. But a lot of times I just do this with my eyeball. Okay, so what I'm doing is I kind of want to catch these early if I'm looking to short them. I'm not one to chase stocks when they're going to lows. So the first parameter I wanted to come up with was position in year range. So if I look at Apple right here, you can see, I'm sorry, position in lifetime range. Okay, it's still at its, let me do this right, hover over it, 84. So it's only 16% from going back through an all-time high. That's not very much. It could turn and do that. But everything's telling me right now that it's not looking that way, but that, like I said, that can change. So what I did, let me just pull this up and look at the configuration with you here. It's a top list, so there's no alerts. It's just a number of filters. Okay, so I put position and lifetime range. I wanted stocks that trade over 1 million shares a day. Okay, I wanted thick stocks. If I'm wrong on a short, I want to be able to get out quick. Price $5 and greater. Change for the close. This really isn't necessary. I'm looking for stocks that are down on the day. You know what? I'm just going to take that out. It doesn't matter to me. I'm looking at the daily picture, so I don't care if they're up on the day. Plus, I may want to fade them if they're up on the day. So, change from 50-day SMA. Okay, I got a max of 0. If you're ever confused about what numbers, what values to plug in here, plug something in and just click on the Show Me button. It'll tell you the price is below the 50-day moving average. Okay. So we know it's below the 50-day moving average. The 50-day moving average is kind of like, kind of gives you an idea if there's weakness, you know, in the stock, or there's strength in the stock on the daily time frame. Some people like the 200-day moving average. To me, a lot of times, I don't know. I'm like I said, a shorter term trader, so I go off the 50-day moving average. But still, I also wanted it below all its averages. Let me lift this up, stretch it out here a little bit. This is why I have the change from 10-day SMA, 0, just like the 50. And I got the change from 20-day SMA, simple moving average. I got a max of 0, so it has to be below all its major moving averages. But here's the kicker, okay? I wanted to get something that was giving me a potential lower high like that. So I was thinking, how would I do this? So I'm looking at the chart of Apple, and I'm saying, well, why don't I go? I have it. It needs to be in the position in the lifetime range, basically in the top 30%. Maybe if I use position in 3-month range and use something in the lower half, it will give me this kind of second hump here, and it kind of worked. So let me show you what I did. So I used the position in 3-month range, and I put a max of 60. Okay, potentially giving me this little hump because it has to be in the lower 60% of its 3-month range. Now, first I went with 40, but then I was finding stocks that had already moved kind of big, so I went with 60. So you can take this and change it, do whatever you want to with it. So I just kind of eyeballed and put these numbers together, and we'll take a look at some of these stocks. Okay, so let me X out of that, and let's pull it up here. Oh, did I not change? Hold on, I don't think I hit OK. Hold on. Let me change that change from the close, take that out. Okay, there we have it. And I just got the symbols right now set by symbol. I'm sorting by symbol because I wanted to see if Apple was in there, and sure enough, there it is. Now, what you could do is you could take this, you could sort by relative volume. You know, there's Dollar Tree. Now, you know, this is something I would, look for something a little bit, you know, if I'm shorting, like I said, I'm not chasing it down here. You can see what happens when you do. You get this big old, you know, bounce day on you. But we're hoping to get some of these. A lot of these are going to look weak. Now, there's no minimum from the 50-day moving average. If I wanted to tighten this up, I could go in here and put a minimum on the 50-day moving average. And I'll do that and show you here in just a minute what I'm talking about. And right now I'm seeing stuff that is really kind of more, but here, that's what I'm talking about. Here you have another kind of, you know, a couple of moves there and kind of making lower highs right there, almost like a triple top, but selling off right there. But you know what? I'm going to show you what you guys can do, and you can decide what you want to do with it. Because if I'm looking for opportunity to short, I want them closer to this 50-day moving average. So I could come in here. So what's beautiful about the software, you can manipulate it pretty much any way you want. So right now I got the change from SMA set at 0. So what I'm going to do is come in here and I'm going to put a minimum. I do not want this thing less than, let's start out with 0.3%. I don't know, let's do 2%. And let's see if it tightens things up a little bit. So make sure what I put, let's click on the show me button. The price is no more than 2% below the 50-day moving average. The price is at the 50-day moving average. So we know that it somewhere in that range. So let's see what happens here when I do this. Probably tighten it up too much. So you're going to find these are going to be much closer to the 50-day moving average. But you could probably find some, you know, some decent opportunity in there. There's Microsoft. Okay, there's another one. And this is what I'm talking about, what I wanted to see, you know, a high there and a potential, you know, lower high and below its moving averages. Okay, I would not buy Microsoft right here at all. Not to say you can't get lucky and it go, but I think the odds are not stacked in your favor for sure. All right, let me tighten it up here. Hold on. Let me loosen it up a little bit. That's too tight. Let's come in here and let's just go up one notch and see what happens. 3%. Okay, got a little more there. I would like to get Apple in there, but it looks like that thing's probably, oh well. Let's do one more time. We're going to come in here and trust me, guys, when I'm building alerts, I do this all the time. I will come in here and just switch numbers and see, you know, what I'm getting here. And there's Apple now. Okay. And there you see change from 50-day SMA. It's 3.5. That's why 3 didn't work. I put in 5 and it worked. So maybe this is the key right here. Go with this 5. There's Amazon. You're seeing some nice little setups. That one would have been nice to catch today in the morning. You would have caught that on here. So now you're starting to see some things. Boy, that looks further than, nope, it's just 3.6. Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing now. Finally hit that sweet spot. Seeing a lot of like potential double lower highs in these stocks. And look at the home builders, guys. Remember just a month ago, these things were ripping at all-time highs. Now let me show you a few. Look at Home Depot. And remember when I shorted it on this day, pretty close to highs, Jamie? Wish I was still in that. But XHB, see, they're kind of got that different look now. Okay, this is stuff you got to watch out for. Wait, you got the double hump there, potential lower high, breaking below all its moving averages. So guys, whether you're a short trader or not, I mean, this could be a great little window for finding some potential short sales. And I'm not saying that, you know, we're going into a bear market. I'm just saying it's nice to be prepared if the tape, you know, turns on us. You know, the Qs continue to sell off and starts dragging down some of the other sectors as well. This will be a nice little window, you know, to have in your quiver. You pull out and find some stocks, you know, that you can short. But this can be a nice little tool to help you understand what you're looking, you know, if you're new to trading, maybe what you don't want to buy. when you start seeing these stocks that had great momentum, and this goes back a lot longer and just keeps going, when they finally break and get on the potentially on the other side of the mountain. I'm definitely not calling when I'm looking these are all-time highs. They'll never go back there again. I would never say that. But the price action I'm seeing right now over the last month is not bullish. Okay, that can change. Maybe we get a rotation or something like that. But definitely seeing some selling in what were some very strong sectors. Like I said, right now it seems like it's all energy and oil and gas. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into this because I want to get into the price alerts kind of game that we play. But let me show you what you can do. Okay, let's say you wanted to take this and find just the opposite. Let's say you wanted to find stocks that may be turning the corner. Okay. Right, they're in the lower portion of their lifetime range, but there are now everything's just flipped and they're trading above their 50-day moving average. What can you do? Well, we have a collaboration tool. Okay, and what we could do is duplicate the window. No, we don't need to duplicate the window. We need to collaborate, copy all. Now we're going to go up here to our new, and we're going to run a top list, a new top list. I know, I was thinking about making it into an A window. No, I don't want to do that. Sorry, guys, I misled you. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to duplicate the window, okay? And we are going to configure, and we're going to hit the flip button. And what this is going to do, it's going to flip it's going to basically reverse all of our filters. So we're looking for stocks that are in the lower portion of their lifetime range, but possibly turning around now. So just hit flip. There you have it. We'll change this to climbing up the mountain, possibly. With the question mark. We're going to throw a question mark in there because we don't know yet, but things are looking better. All right, let's click OK. And something didn't work here. Probably because we're missing all the oil stocks because they're way above their 50-day moving average. But this works. You can see stocks that are now potentially reversing. CNX, DHT. You might want to loosen up the filter, on this one to get more. Once again, anytime you build something and you don't get the stocks, you just loosen up some filters and you'll get more in there. Here's what I'm talking about. If I went in here and hit configure and went to filters, and now I got this 50 SMA at 5%. Let's just change this maybe to 10. And now we got a whole bunch of stocks in there. But they're all red today. It's kind of weird. And we're still see the energy stocks are just too far away from there. You could, like I said, loosen it up more if you wanted to catch all these energy stocks, but they're so far away from their 50 that they're not even coming in here. All right, so let me share these with you guys. I'll leave this on 10%. You guys can do what you want to with it, but I will save and share. And I'll drop it into the chat window of our GoToWebinar interface, guys, so you can just grab it. And let's just call this other side. And there is that one. And climbing, I'll call this one climbing. And let me save and share. Copy all. And there you go. Make sure they both went in there. Yeah. Did they? Yeah, they got in there. All right, let's look at and Jamie, I don't know if I have any questions in there. I know you've been pretty active over there, but let's
I think we're pretty caught up.
Okay. All right,
if we miss anybody, just resubmit it. Yeah.
All right. Let me go to the price alerts. And the big winners, guys, is Stan G had one Oxy. He was a wise man playing energy stocks. There was his trigger right there, and that was a huge 10.36%. Was up higher today when I looked, but anyway, very nice call by Stan G on Oxy. If you guys took these price alerts and had that triggered, probably would have been wise to have bought that. Good call, Stan. And the other one was, it seemed like there was another one. I think it pulled back on him. This LMND was up earlier today when I looked, about 7 or 8%, maybe even higher, but now it's only up 4%. That's from Brian K. Yeah, you can see the pullback there, the wick on the, but it was much higher. DDD from Neo's up, let's see, about 3.5%. Not a bad one. And ARNC by Dave Fontaine, that's actually looking good, like it may want to go higher. From Dave Fontaine there. So good one, guys. Let me go ahead and delete these and fire away. Okay, what we're going to do, guys, just give me a stock and a price, and I'll assume it's a long unless you want to go short. Let me know. Let me delete. My daughter's texting me. She's saying, I can hear you all the way from the, hold on. Let me delete these. Okay, and let's fire away. First one off is Dave Fontaine with BB16. He's going to stay long the meme stocks at 16 and is trading. Oh, he's going to try to get one in after hours here. Wait, let me do this again. And that was Dave. Chris with FCX at, I need a price, Chris, on FCX. Got to give me a price. You just want it above this 20 period moving average or above today's highs? Oh, hey, your Apple short was working, Betty Sue. I'm sorry I didn't talk about that one. You were up in that one, and she's going to short it again. Chris, sorry, I'm new. I'm fully understand what prices. Oh, we're just doing price alerts, and I'll share them with everybody. So what'll happen is once the price triggers, you give me a trigger point, and once it goes off, it'll trigger, and then it'll be in my price alerts window. We'll share them next week. I'll show you. I'll help you out here. Okay, if you want to go long FCX, let's just take it right above this 20 period moving average here. Okay, so if it does bounce, you'll trigger at, what I'll do here is set it at 42.50. I'll put your name in here, and who knows, you may be the big winner. And then we'll set the price alert, and then it'll be in there, and we can go from there. Okay, let me see, Jamie. I think I'm getting behind here. Oracle 81.47. And dummy. 81.47, another tight one. Well, that does look good, doesn't it? It's like it wants to move higher. And that was lava. Okay, document. And that short 191. Looking for some, I like it. And that was Randall. Like somebody's not afraid to short. Apple short for Betty Sue. She's on Apple, man. She's going after them hard at 124. So you're looking for a tick up. There you go. I like that. bounce right into it. That's the way to do it. All right. OCGN. I think I remember seeing that one come across a few of my alerts. OCGN before. That's Martin at 950. Looks poised. It's been trading sideways for a long time. Martin K. BBB. Why? That one was on a tear the last few days and is sold off. He's looking for a continual. What kind of crap is that? You sell all, go strong all day and trade that high and then gap it down. Don't I guarantee you, so many shorts got ran over that day, Jamie. And then what do? They make you get out because you're afraid to take it home, and then they gap it down and puke it.
Yep.
32. Okay, you're looking for a move higher, and that is George Young. Oh, I think it just triggered. That's all right. We'll give it to you since if it did, because it just popped up there, but that's okay. All right, let's see what else we got. BB at night. Wait, what's going on here? Oh, okay. Thank you. You're right. Thank you. I put that needs to be a short. Okay, let me do this. Edit price alert. We're going to call this a short. There we go. We got it. Thank you, Dave. HNST. And that is 19 for Brian. Y'all bear with me here. About to wrap it up. Somebody mentioned something about that I missed. Bear with me. Okay, looks like I'm caught up. Let's see what Stan got. CEGE. What's the price? Stan on that CEGE. I don't. And maybe you made a mistake there. GE. I bought that today actually. Got suckered in thinking it was going to move. 1428. Okay, that's about where I bought it. But it's a swing trade, so I wasn't going to get jigged out for 20 or 30 cents, that's for sure. And that is Stan G. All right, may be it. Yeah, Daniel, Scott's going to come have a, hey, May, how are you? He's going to have a coupon code here at the end, okay, for you. So you can, a discount code, coupon code, discount code. So CERN for Ime. Ime comes in late in the game. He's been strong before. Let's see. He's going with long 8076 for CERN. All right. You're welcome. Make sure I didn't forget any more. Doing good, Ime. Good to see you. All right, guys. What I'm going to do is share these now. We've got about 10, so that's good. I'm going to copy them and share them with you. And pay attention, guys. There's been some good ones in here before. And I'll drop them into the chat window. It's going to be under PA. Price alerts. And there you go. Everybody has access to those price alerts. Be sure you copy them And thank you very much, guys. I'm going to bring Scott in here. He's going to walk us out, and hang on there. We'll have a discount code for you.
All right, thanks, Andy. Yeah, thanks, everyone. So a couple things to do. If you don't have the strategy indicators book yet, go ahead and grab it. It's free. It comes from our Director of Software Development, Dave Mabe. It's got some great ideas in there for you and some cloud links that you can use to add directly to your layouts. So go to tradeIdeas.com/strategy for that. Do check out the podcast. We should have a new episode out sometime soon. Search for Trade Ideas Podcast wherever you listen to your pods, and check out the interviews we've released this year. Sean has done some good ones. There's a Strength Alerts newsletter. If you're not quite ready to commit to a full Trade Ideas subscription, you can try this out. It's 5 alerts every Monday, and it's only $17 a month. TradeIdeas.com/strength. If you are a subscriber, you can find the Strength Alerts newsletter inside your channel bar in the Trade Ideas program. There's a code, Sunshine, 15% off your first month or year of Trade Ideas. Go ahead and apply that code if you're doing a new subscription or an upgrade, and save. Jamie's on Twitter. He's at QuantBot. We've also got Steve Gomez at TISteveG. Also check out at Trade Ideas. And Trade Ideas Pros, our handle on Facebook, so check that out as well. And if you have any questions, send it to info@tradeideas.com. That goes to our help desk. The recording of this session will be up later on tonight or tomorrow on our YouTube channel, and you get an email reminder tomorrow about how to find it. So thanks, everyone. Thanks, Andy and Jamie. Have a good one.
Thanks, everybody. I'll see some of you tomorrow in the support webinar.
Adios.